Hello everyone, in this video I will show you how to replace rear axle or differential fluid in my 2005 CLK500. It will be similar to many models, maybe different capacity. So in my car it would take 1.5 US quarts or 1.4 liter, and manual says it has to be 85 W90. Now the service manual for my car says that it has to be Gipoid gear oil, and this is the number, part number 001-989-170310, 85W90, and it has to meet sheet 235.7 specification. And that's exactly what it says for my car. So that's how it go. I did some research, went to local dealership, Mercedes dealer, and they told me that that number, that fluid has been replaced with new part number 001-989-330309, and it's now 75W85. So they changed the viscosity to 75W85. Now, when you do research and check on Mercedes website for specific fluids, and they have fluid that they approve for rear differential, it's Fox Titan Syntapoid FE 75W85. What I've noticed, some manufacturers have 235.7 specification listed on their product, on their cans, but they are not listed on this Mercedes website that shows approved operating fluids. If we go to 235.7 gear oils, we can see that Mercedes-Benz fluid is here. As I said, at my local dealership, it was priced at $67 per 1 liter can. So for my job, I needed 2 cans. That would be $134. Fox Titan Syntapoid FE 75W85 is listed here as well. Now, this is the fluid I'm using, and I paid for this fluid here locally in Massachusetts. I ordered from idparts.com, and I paid $26.95 per 1 liter can. So I used 2 bottles, so total price was $53.90, and the shipping was actually free. So it's much better deal than buying Mercedes fluid. So this is the fluid that I'm going to be using. That's Fox Titan Syntapoid FE 75W85. And as you can see in the back, it says Mercedes-Benz approval 235.7. That's exactly what I need for my car. For this job, we will need 2 liters of gear oil. Both plugs, drain and fill plugs, are 14mm hex, so we will need 14mm hex socket with extension, some kind of thread sealant. I've been using Permatex thread sealant for all my cars very successfully. This particular one is Permatex 59214. And we will need a torque wrench. Both plugs, the drain and the fill plug, they have to be torqued to 50 nanometers or 37 foot-pound. And some kind of container to catch used oil from the differential. Of course, car has to be jacked up, raised. I'm using jack stands, and you can use the front single jack point, and at the rear there is the jack point is actually under the differential. So by lifting the car, put those safety jacks, make sure it's leveled. For me, when I check fluid levels, I always like my car to be leveled. This is the front jacking point for the for raising vehicle, the whole front of the vehicle. To raise the back of the vehicle, you need to use a differential, under the differential. The fuel plug is on the driver's side, which is left side of the car. We're going to be removing that plug, the fuel plug, first. And this is the drain plug. It's also 14 millimeter. It's on the passenger side, so it's on the right side, on the passenger side. The service manual calls for replacement of both plugs. I'm going to be reusing them. I don't see any sign of rust or any abnormality with them. So I'm going to be reusing those plugs, even though they're not expensive. At my local dealership, they are priced at $4.99 for one plug, and this is the number 000-997-7932 in case if you need new plugs. So for 2 plugs, it's $9.98. One more thing, before applying thread sealant, please make sure the thread is clean on both plugs and on the differential. Clean as much as possible. And then when you're applying this thread sealant, do not apply on the first thread. Apply on the second and the third thread only. For this job, to pump the fresh oil into differential, you can use a transfer pump. But if you have a compressor, you can use this method that I've been using for a long time for different type of fluids. Instead of using a transfer pump, I simply drill two holes in this cover of 1 liter container, one larger diameter for the hose that will be supplying fresh oil into differential, and one smaller diameter for this hose right here that I attach to blowgun with a trigger that connects to my that is connected to my compressor, and I can control the amount of air I'm pumping into this 1 liter container. So the way it works, so I have fluid in this 1 liter container. By pressurizing this container, I will force the fluid, the pressure will force the fluid up into the differential. This method can be used for different fluids for different jobs. I really like this method because if I use transfer pumps, I don't like cross-contamination between different oils, between different fluids, and then I have to deal with cleaning the pump or accumulate many pumps. So in my opinion, this method is much cleaner, much faster, and it works great. I hope you can see it, how it works. So I'm applying a little bit pressure into container, and that's it. And it needs to be filled up until fluids start coming off the filling hole. Okay, so it's full now. I'm glad I did the oil change in the differential. As you can see, this is the old oil and this is the fresh one. Big difference.